It feels like younger players have performed in the playoffs better than before. Ja, Luka, Ant, and many others have risen or performed at their level during the postseason. I wanted to know if this feeling has any statistical support. There are 20 players drafted from 2017 to 2023 who have made an all-star team. Out of that group, 17 of them have made the playoffs as well. I took their points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, true shooting, playoff games played, and playoff games won. I took their averages and compared it to their averages in the regular season, then combined the playoff drops and rises into what we'll call playoff scores. For example, Paolo's points went up by 5.7, rebounds went up by 1.7, assists dropped by 0.6, blocks stayed the same, steals rose by 0.2, and true shooting by 0.16. This gives Paolo a playoff score of 7.16. When you combine every player's playoff differentials, the number should be positive if these stars perform better in the playoffs. After I got all the numbers, only one stat, true shooting, was negative. The playoff score they got was 2.9. That does show they perform better in the playoffs, but it doesn't answer the original question. It seems like they're performing better than we've seen before. How does this compare to the previous 7 draft classes, for example? Immediately, there was a difference between the groups. About 85% of the younger stars made the playoffs, but only 42% of the older stars were eligible for the comparison. It makes sense, since there are developing players and injured players who become all-stars later in their careers. One all-star missed the playoffs, 8 players made the playoffs but missed the all-star game, and 10 players in this span missed both the playoffs and the all-star game. This leaves 14 players for us to compare. We'll call the older group Group B and the newer group Group A. Group A averaged more points, rebounds, and assists, and shot more efficiently than Group B, giving them a 4-2 lead. Regarding differentials, Group A's rebounds, assists, and steals went up higher than Group B's, and they're still up with a 7-5 score. But I took playoff games and playoff wins. Group B has some real contributors in this area. Clay, Draymond, Kawhi, and PG alone added 313 games and 200 wins. Group A's up 8-6. The last thing we need is to add their playoff scores. As I said earlier, Group A's playoff score is 2.9. Group B's playoff score is 2 54/100ths, giving Group A the win. This doesn't fully answer the question, but this does show that younger talents now have performed better than younger stars from recent memory. Here are the players that took the biggest leaps and drops from each group. In the meantime, I have some ideas for why younger players perform this well. Since prospect scouting has become more global, better prospects are heading into the league that are more prepared for NBA games. Ring culture has made players who grow up in this environment care a little less about the regular season and view the postseason with more determination and enthusiasm, since it determines all-time rankings much more. These numbers might be average for players at this point in their career, but since I only looked back 14 years, I didn't get enough data. The numbers might be good for a star, but the hype might be amplified since the player is younger. For example, if Paul George scored 32 in a loss, it wouldn't be discussed as much if Luka or Ja did it. Or some of these younger players will eventually be called playoff droppers, but we haven't seen them in the playoffs enough. But let me know what you think, and check out this video that tries to use numbers to see how often fans agreed with refs.